Hey YouTube, it's me, and today I wanted to share a quick tutorial. Hopefully it's quick. I'm trying to make it quick. A tutorial. I made this on my blog, or shared this on my blog. It's a Mother's Day card, and about 3 people asked me to make it. This is not an original idea. I got it from another YouTuber a couple years ago. Hers was an interactive card, and I tried to do a search on her, but I could not find it. So when I find it, I'm going to edit the video and give credit where credit is due. So today I'm going to make a card that will coordinate with this balsa box that I altered. So let's get started, because I want to try to make this as quick as possible. So the first thing I do is just take a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I cut it in half, which would be 5.5. Now you can trim this down to whatever size you want. So now you have 2 halves. Then I take my scoring tool, Martha Stewart, and I make sure that both pieces are together. And then I score at 1 inch. This is kind of hard to do, so score at 1 inch. You may have to do it a couple times for the bottom layer. And then at 1.5 inches. And then at 7 inches. And at 7.5. And make sure, and it's kind of hard to keep everything in a groove when you do 2 pieces of paper. And this is thicker cardstock. This is the Paper Tray Inks, what is it, Vintage Cream. So then you have your folds. And you're going to actually want to fold this crease down and fold this one upward. And you do the same thing to this one. And fold this one upward. And this is more, it's difficult to do this stuff on camera, I promise you. Alright. And I know I'm off camera, but so it's like the Mountain Valley folds. So then you have this, it looks like a banner, how a banner would look. So this is the basis of the card. Now what I like to do is try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone if I can. I've already cut down 2 pieces of pattern paper. This is from the Mariposa stack, and I want to use this piece on the inside and this piece on the outside of the card. So you take one panel, and we'll sit this one on the side, because this is going to be our back cover, or our back part of the shadow box, and we'll make this one the front. And then I'm going to sit this to the side too. So here's the front panel. I've already cut it down, and I may have to trim a little bit off the top. Just want to trim off just a little bit so that it's not hanging off the side. I'm just going to trim it off, and it should fit It should fit. Okay, and now this is where you would ink your edges. I'm just using some walnut stain to ink the edges. And then I'm just going to use some adhesive. And if you want to, you can tape around the edges, but this is good enough. So then, just going to place this where I want it to go. Making sure that there is no tape hanging over. And I'm satisfied with that. So then this will be the front. So what I do is cut an opening. And today I'm just going to use a nestability. It's going to use a nestability. Got my grand caliber out. So I can cut the shape that I want. And you want to make sure that you place your die in the middle. Okay, and what I like to do is tape it down so that it doesn't move. And then you can use the middle piece for another project if you so choose. So you just find your placement. Now you can do this on an electronic cutting machine, or like I'm doing here with the nesties. And then once you're satisfied with it, you just run it through your grand caliber or your die cutting, your manual die cutting machine, your Vagabond, Cuttlebug. Alright, so then you just pop this off. And then you're left with this. Like I said, you can use this on a different project at another time. But then you're left with your hole. And this is the front of your card. So then you can ink the edges of this. You can make a frame if you want to go around. Just like that. So this is the front of our card. And what I like to do for this is emboss. So I'm going to grab an embossing folder. And today I'm going to use the Musical Flourish. And honestly, I like to do this part before I actually put on the top layer. But this is fine. Like, Cuttlebug up, take your cardstock out of the folder, and there you have it. That's your front. And don't worry, your score lines are still there. Okay. So we're going to set this part aside, your front panel aside, and we're going to work on the inside. So again, it's not really necessary, but ink the edges. Ink the edges. And I only emboss the front panel. And because the papers are so pretty, I probably won't do too much with this. So then you just want to sit it in the middle. Alright, and I'm happy with that. And then you put your sentiment or whatever you're going to do on the inside. So what I've already done was I took some of that paper from the Mariposa from the front, and I'm just going to glue it down. I already inked the edges of it, so I'm just going to add some glue. Add some glue. And place it where I want it to go. And I think I want it to be about there. And then I'm going to layer this part on here, and I'm just going to add some glue. And I want to layer it just like that, making sure that it's even, and kind of pop that up just like that. And then I'm just going to add some pearls to it. And I'm going to add 3. So I'm just going to cut off 3 pieces of pearl and glue it down the middle. Just like that. And then try to clean up some of the glue strands. Okay. Now, because the box had the rhinestones, I'm just going to put that there for now. And then I'm going to take some Recollection Bling, and I'll probably just cut it down, because I tend to cut down my flourishes so that they last a little longer. And I think I'm going to just cut this little part off here. And then add it here. Just like that. And then I can ink the edges of this to give it a little pop. I'm going to glue this down. And I'm trying to hurry up, so I'll probably end up fixing the card when I'm off camera. But alright, so this is pretty much what I want to do to the inside. And I think I got glue stuck on my hand. Alright, make sure that's straight. Sometimes I'm a little cockeyed. Alright, so this is all I'm going to do for the front, or for the back for right now. So let me move this to the side. Okay, now here is the front panel. So what I like to do is glue it down before I actually work on the front. So you want to use some decent glue, especially if you were making this as an interactive shadow box card. This one is not, so I'm not too much worried about, you know, it interacting, or a real strong adhesive rather. Okay, so now what you want to do is just meet the edges pretty good. So then if you wanted to, you can, again, you know, distress the edges or whatever of the card. I'm not really sure how long I've been at this card yet, but I want to try to go fast. And don't do what I just did. Gosh, you know what? I glued my panel on wrong, but it's okay because you can't really tell that it's glued on wrong. It was supposed to be this way. But anyway, mistakes happen. That's the joy of crafting, right? Alright, so now what we're going to do is start decorating the front of the card.